Lex Wexner. Am I saying the name correctly, Rob,
Yes,
or
you
no?
are.
So this is the guy that gave the largest Manhattan private residence $54,000, gifted it to Epstein, and this is documented. Very wealthy man. Here he's being talked about, what's going on with Epstein. And look at the lawyer to his right, our left. Look what he whispers. And one thing we know, his parents should have told him when he was a kid, you have no clue how to whisper, buddy. Moving forward, never, ever whisper again. But go ahead, Rob.
It was just regularly done. Answer another question. 5 words, okay?
Okay.
Answer the question. Okay.
I'm going to effing kill you if you answer one more question with more than 5 words.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said,
wow.
shut your, which I get it. It's for a lawyer. But if he's telling the truth, he doesn't have anything to worry about. Why would you? And I get the lawyer part. Shut up, less words. Don't talk to the cops. Don't talk to, that's what you're told. But if you're innocent, go. If I'm your lawyer, go tell them the truth.
Tom, what's going on here? I mean, we've been through processes when I had at one time we're selling one of our companies, and my investment banker called me, and he says, hang up the Zoom, call me. You remember this. We were in Monaco. I hang up. We're on a shouting match. He says, Pat, you can't say what you just said. Let me handle that part.
Yeah.
That's my job as your banker, not your job. You're paying me for this. We paid him a few $1 million. So I get the part that the lawyer's supposed to do this. But, Tom, what do you think's going on here?
Well, what's going on right here, this is really sensitive. Wexman, Epstein, everything that's going on, and you have these hearings. And there's legal strategy. Your lawyer sits down with you and says, okay, how are we going to handle this? And said, well, I wasn't there that often. Whatever is excuse or his reason or his explanation, whatever word you want to use, it's going to fall under the thing testimony. So you decide what Les's testimony is going to be, and you have a legal strategy because the lawyer knows what he's going to do next. The lawyer knows the motion he's going to file. And the more words you give them, the more they can pick on. That's why typically when you're being deposed, you say yes, no, date, whatever it is, because the more you gave them, no, I was just by myself in my office with my staff. Oh, with your staff? Who's on your staff? How many of them were there? Did they hear this? Were they seeing privileged information? You see what I mean? That's what'll happen. So the lawyer is sitting there and saying something that just like the banker said to you, just like I on board calls, not with Pat, but at board calls earlier in my career, I put phones on mute and I leaned over to CEOs and says, you can't do that. That's an incorrect answer, or that's not the strategy. You need to knock that off. And I have not authority over that CEO, just like the lawyer doesn't have authority over the
Well, what
witness
is he
here.
being interviewed for here? What is the context here?
All his connections, everything. Pat,
This is about Epstein.
This is about Epstein, and,
Yeah.
he admitted that since 1980, Epstein was advising the Rothschild and the Rothschild family about finances since the 80s. He
Right.
barely went to college.
He was a math teacher.
Epstein.
And I am not defending Les Wexner that has a pile of very circumstantial evidence against him right now and a pile of flight logs and a lot of other things. I'm not defending him. I'm just speaking to why would a lawyer be leaning over and being that animated or say something like that, and he even chuckles about it. It's because they're setting strategy. But I'm not defending this guy.
Randy, thoughts?
Look, I think the Epstein thing is disgraceful. I think everyone involved has a special place in hell that awaits them. But one of the things I wonder very much is why are we focused on this now? I mean, we're talking with Wexner about stuff that happened 20 years ago. When Democrats were in charge in 2021, when they had the presidency, the House, and the Senate, Epstein has been dead for a couple of years. Why were they not investigating it then?
Fair question.
In 2022, why were they not investigating it then? In 2023, why were they not investigating it then? In 2024, what I really want to know is what magically happened in 2025 that made them all interested. I know the answer to that is the election of Donald J. Trump. But the other thing I think we need to be looking at is the largest child abuse scandal in the history of the world. As horrible as it was, is not the Epstein files. It was Joe Biden letting 300,000 unaccompanied minors come in this country, and they all got lost, and nobody knew where they were. And thousands and thousands and thousands of those children have been used in horrible ways. I think we need to be looking at all of this. I don't want to excuse what this guy did. I mean, what all of these people who hung out with this guy, particularly after he was convicted of being a sex trafficker in Florida. It's one thing that we probably all have friends that we ultimately learn something about. We're like, oh, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. So you sort of can understand that. But after the guy got convicted of messing around with kids, that's not someone you should want to hang around with. And so that's really the behavior I think we should look at. What this guy claims is once he knew about that stuff, he had nothing to do with it. I don't know whether that's true or not.
Let me read some of this, and then, Adam, I'll come to you. So here's what this is apparently going on. Wexner calls final email to Epstein a middle finger 4 days before he pleaded guilty in Florida in 2008 to soliciting sex with someone younger than 18 years old. Epstein received an email from Wexner. Abigail told me the response, Wexner wrote, referring to his wife. All I can say is I feel sorry. You violated your own number one rule. Always be careful. Epstein replied, no excuse. What are they talking about? Then it continues. When asked in the deposition about the email, Wexner said he didn't know what prompted him to write, except that he was angry with Epstein over the financier's action. I think it was just me giving him the finger, Wexner said. Wexner said he was positive he didn't have any further communication with Epstein after the exchange. From my point of view, he died, Wexner said. I didn't even want to think about it. Infamous birthday book. This is another thing that was talked about. The birthday book note signed your friend. When asked about this, his note to Epstein in a latter infamous birthday book, which he signed your friend, Wexner said it was kind, friend. It was the kind, friendly closing he would have used for anyone, regardless of whether he was a friend or not. I think if I was sending a birthday note to somebody, I'd say your friend or something. I wouldn't just sign my name. It would be like yours truly, best, something like that. And then he addressed the accusations of Maria Farmer. Wexner fielded several questions about Maria Farmer, who accused Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell of sexually assaulting her during the 1996 summer in New Albany. Farmer alleged that after the assault, Wexner's security staff held her at the property until her father could pick her up. A lawsuit filed by Farmer said Epstein's Ohio property was or near Wexner's New Albany estate. During the testimony, Wexner said Epstein stayed at a nearby house owned by Jack Kessler, co-founder of New Albany Company. Wexner told the committee that he didn't know shit about Farmer. I never met her. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know she was accused, Wexner said. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into this conversation here, including one of them being about Prince Andrew, call to offer airplane sale, purchase services. So, Adam, what are your thoughts here? Because, by the way, while I'm going through this, Prince Andrew, first person in the royal family to get arrested in 400 years.
He's not even he's just Andrew right now.
Well, he was. He's no longer.
Yeah, he's just Andrew.
But he's part of the royal family. So first time in 400 years. So something's going on with this story. No one's gotten arrested in the States yet.
And that needs to change.
That needs to change. Rob, is this him talking about Prince Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Go for it, Rob.
I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing to see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was alive, but now they speak. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. In fact, the opposite. He was against me. He was fighting me in the election, which I just found out through the last 3 million pages.
Adam.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the part that nobody's talking about. It's systemic, this problem with these young women that are showing up. Because who is this guy, Lex Wexner? He's the founder of L Brands, right? What does L Brands own? Victoria's Secret. So if you know anything about the modeling industry, and I've interviewed how many hundreds, if not thousands of models, the industry starts with 15 and 16-year-old girls who get signed to a major agency, and then they're walking on runways, and then they're a part of this world. So we want to go, the noise is what's going on Epstein Island. The reality is, how did they even get invited? How are all these women, how are these 16, 17-year-old women even in this world? It's because they start out as models at such a young age, 16 years old. By the way, side note, 35 states in America, the age of consent is 16, not 18. 18 here in Florida. So I'll take you this. I told Vinny this story. I was covering this Miami Swim Week. This was this summer. And my friends throw these events, model volleyball. We've been there. All the most gorgeous women in the world, yada, yada, yada. The main girl who's like the last person to go on stage, she does this big hurrah, everyone claps, everyone's doing their thing. And then we're all backstage. I'm talking with people. I'm talking with friends. I go, hey, great job. She goes, yeah, this is my first show. I go, that's great. I mean, how old are you? She goes, 17. I go, what are you doing here? She goes, yeah, this is my mom right here. I go, hey, Mom, what's going on? I go, like, literally, why is your daughter doing this? She goes, yeah, she started when she was 15, and I go with her everywhere, and I'm her chaperone. And here I am. I have friends who are their 30s, their 40s. There's girls in their 20s. There's this one girl who's like the supermodel, 17 years old. I go, Mom, how do you let her in this world? She goes, no, this is what you have to do to get started in this world. So what I'm saying is this. What's my point? Lex Wexner is the breeding ground for young women that want to be in Victoria's Secret. So he becomes friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, he's clearly into young underage women. Most of the stories you hear, the girls are between 16 and 20. I'm sure that you might have heard a story about younger women, but the majority are this age. So the bigger question is this. Why are we having 16, 17, 18-year-old women involved with grown-ass men? That's systemic to me. So if we want to stop these Epstein things from happening, it needs to start in 18 years and older and stop this 16 nonsense.
I'm going to get to Adam's point, but to piggyback off what Randy said, you make a great point. Tom Holman was just in Minnesota, and they found 3,362 missing kids from the border. No headline, just missing kids in all these places in Minnesota, and they withdrew 700 ICE agents, which I'm totally against. Also in this deposition, Jasmine Crockett was trying to get a got you moment about Trump. She asked him, I want to say 5 or 8 rapid fire questions about Trump, and he goes, no, he wasn't there. No, he didn't do this. No, he didn't do that. And to go to your point, Adam, what's revealing, because guess what? The light is going to shine on all this. These people thought they were going to get away with it because they're at the tippity top. It's a global elite demonic, I'm going to say that word again, demonic organization that, Adam, you nailed it. And we're saying 16 to whatever. Once you're that pedophile, sick, disgusting person and you're on an island, who's going to sit there and be like, okay, no. Oh, you're 16 and a half? No, they like these young, underage, Adam, they
do you have an ID?
Destroying the innocence of these children. That's what they get off on. So who knows how old? Because I keep seeing videos of Andrew with the little kid yesterday with the ball that has a nipple on it. All Epstein chasing little girls around. It's something deeper. It's something demonic. You make a great point. 300,000 kids went missing. Nobody said anything. Not a peep. Alejandro Mayorkas was like, the border's closed. Kamala Harris, the border's closed. The borders are. It's all BS. It was a turnstile. That border, for how many years, Randy, was a turnstile for votes, illegals, and children to get trafficked all around the freaking world. That's what it is.
And they don't want to talk about it because Donald Trump didn't do it.
1,000%. So that's it.
And who's the group that has coined the phrase MAPS? Minor
Democrats.
attracted persons.
So gross.
So to me, it's all ridiculous. And they're trying to get Trump. We all know this. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Meanwhile, pretty much everybody that was on the island is on the left of center. So they're using this as an issue to try to bring down Trump, especially in the midterms.
What picture is this, Rob?
That's Andrew. This came out yesterday. I don't know who this kid is. They're playing with the ball, and there was an actual another one as well, Pat. That's a ball, and it has a nipple on it. I don't know whose kid this is. I don't know who. It's not his. What are we talking about? And mind you, there's 3 million that we can't see. And my question is, Pat, I wanted to ask you. Andrew is the one arrest overseas. Is anybody going to get arrested here?
No way. Let me tell you what Andrew does. Oh, no.
Go ahead.
Andrew getting arrested, guess what that does? Okay. Andrew getting arrested increases the pressure on U.S. having to arrest by a mile. Let me tell you why. The average person says, what? The first country that arrested somebody is not U.S., and this guy is from U.S., and UK had the balls to arrest somebody from their family, which is absolutely humiliating, but America is not willing to arrest a billionaire? That is a very bad look for America, just so you know that. I just want you to know this. So for me, this just went from here. It's almost like a comp. You know, when in a family, somebody gets a 4-year degree. Now, what is every grandma and uncle and aunt going to say? Hey, Vinny, when are you getting your 4-year degree? Hey, Randy, when are you going to? Hey, so first person makes 6 figures. Hey, so when are you going to make? First person buys a house, cousin. Hey, when are you going to buy a house? First person gets married. So when are you going to get? First person has a kid. Adam, when are you going to have a kid? When are you going to have a kid? This is that situation now. So the U.S. has to arrest somebody. They have to do something. So I don't know who that's going to be, but do not be surprised if in the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, if somebody in the U.S. also goes through this. Do not be surprised if this happens.
I have a different opinion, if you don't mind.
I'd love to hear it. Go for it.
So I believe this is political theater in the UK, because the hypocrisy coming out of the UK. What Keir Starmer just got accused of hiring or having someone in his cabinet that was with Epstein. Okay, political theater. Why would I say something like this? Can we talk about the UK rape gangs that have been raping and pillaging your own citizens for decades? Shout out to Tommy Robinson for basically peeling the mask off what they've been covering up in their own country. So if they've done nothing about that, if they just sit there silent and be like, oh, let them in. It's okay. You can rape our children. But yeah, let's get Prince Andrew. So to me, they're Scooby-Dooing this thing. They're pulling the mask off Andrew to make him escape.
Right. Two things can be right.
But correct.
But
But until they start doing that about the UK rape gangs,
And
this is political theater.
Adam,
This is the family. This is the royal family.
Yeah, but he's the scapegoat. This is the person that they're basically saying, you're no longer
400
family.
years. By the way, 400 years. Guess what the questions become? How do you raise your kids? What did you not do as a father for your kid to do what he just did? What did you do as a father that the rest of us don't know that your son did something like this? Whether these questions are fair or not, these are questions that are going to be asked.
Sure.
400 years, this hasn't happened. This is massive for that to be taken.
And can I just
But
pick
there's a difference between being arrested, being charged with something, being convicted of something. Until
it
they
goes
charge
in
him something
phases.
and convict him
It
of something,
goes
this
in
seems like
phases.
political
Will he
theater
be-
to
will-
me.
Will
This
he
is
be
more
in
than-
prison? But
Yeah.
Adam,
Let's see.
Adam, I swear to you, I had this on there. Just to piggyback off of you, the British Parliament voted last week massively against the investigation of the child Pakistani rape gangs.
Oh, shocker.
They voted, ready for this? They blocked it, ruling Labour Party voting stopped the launch, 364 to 11. And guess what they said? Opponents of the inquiry argued that reopening the issue would damage the image of Muslim communities and clash with prevailing left-wing political priorities. They said, no, we're not gonna go after them because it's gonna make Muslims look bad, which is horrible. But going off what you said,
Is that real life?
no, that's no.
It's
God
real life
forbid, I have
there.
it as a story.
God
It's real
forbid
life
that we
there.
tarnish the image of rapists.
But here's my question.
Oh, that's
does
horrible.
Does Andrew actually, Pat, do any, meaning behind bars for being with underage girls? Does he actually, because an arrest is an arrest. He sits in the car, we get the picture. It's political theater up to that point. Does he see prison? Because at the end of the day, Pat, these people need to be behind bars, period. Underage kids, you know where I stand? Jail.
Like a Diddy prison.
Or like a Diddy, I want years. However, whatever their statutes are over there, that's the only way. Because guess what? Arrest him. Bill Gates, naughty. You gave your wife an STD allegedly and slipped her drugs and okay, whatever. He's a disgusting human being. But the pandemic emails, what are we gonna do with this? What are we gonna do? Where's the pilot after 9/11? Type of stuff.
I think the part about the rape gangs in UK, I think that pressure of going the way they're going, eventually it's going to break. They don't have a choice. Eventually it's going to break. It may take a year, 2 years, 3 years. I think something could happen next 3 years because what speech did Rubio give at Munich? That's part of his speech. If you actually read into the speech, he is talking about the rape gangs. He's talking about what's going on in UK in his speech, right? But this to me, if all of a sudden story comes out, Bill Gates is getting arrested, what do you think that story does? He is about to speak in India. He doesn't go there. His wife is not holding back.
Nope.
His wife is like going, hey, you want to invite me to talk about my ex-husband? Please, yes. You're telling me she's playing offense?
Oh, Pat.
So what you're
What do
saying?
you think the chances someone like Bill Gates gets arrested?
You want to know the chances?
Yeah.
In my opinion, 20%.
You think
But
that
that's
high
high.
with Bill
I
Gates?
do.
Yeah.
I do. Look, we're currently going through 3 different lawsuits. Some issues that we dealt with the company. Every one of them is a certain behavior that they shouldn't have done. In the last 20 years, I've sued in my entire life 5 people. I'm not a litigious guy. I've been sued a lot because, hey, Vinny says something on the podcast. Boom. Hey, boom, it's the lawsuit. That part, as you get bigger, it's part of the territory. You have to understand how this works. But if you don't make an example and everybody else thinks they can do it, now you're the guy that's going to be a target. You have to make an example. I think they have to choose who they're going to make an example of. And don't forget, about 6 months ago, when Bill Gates is sitting next to Melania and the president, and we're like,
Yep.
what? Why is he there? Do you not think Bill knows what's coming? It's like, hey, I'm pro-Trump now. Oh, really? You're pro-Trump now? Are you afraid of what's happening with Epstein? I don't know. Randy, I'll give you the final thoughts on this, and we'll go to the next story.
I hope it's a lot more than one person that gets arrested. I think they all need to get arrested. And again, I think we need to not pick and choose. We need to go after the people who did what they did with these people who came across the border. And in the UK, you think it could break in the next 1 to 3 years? They also are voting to delete all of the records. That's the debate that you were talking about. They're saying we need to delete, literally the government is having a discussion, we need to delete all the evidence so no future government can come after these people. You know, and so the only thing to me arguably worse than what's going on is that these Democrats.
Is that really what they're saying?
Yes, they want. Because
Are they really, Rob, saying they want to delete the file so a future leader cannot come after them?
Well, I don't know. They said they didn't give that as their excuse.
But that's the motive.
But it was deleting the. Yeah, it was
Rob,
deleting
check
the records.
the article that Humberto just sent you.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah, government U-turns
This is the
again
Sun.
on decision to delete huge archives of Britain's court records. Of course.
That they're
trying
going to delete the records.
Right, and everybody.
There you go.
Government U-turns again.
No, okay, so maybe in the last day or two they undid it.
But
yes,
they're trying to fight for it.
they're trying to delete all of the records of this. I mean, this is the opposite of the Epstein thing. We're trying to bring the records out, get to what's going on.
These are two separate issues.
Well,
these are two separate issues. To me, if I'm living in UK, this is a much bigger issue.
Of course.
Much bigger issue. It's something that's impacting me directly on a day-to-day basis.
I'd argue that 300,000 missing kids is a pretty big deal too. I mean,
in the states.
In the States.
No. Look, when it comes down to the immigration, the kids, stuff like that, there is no political party at that point. That's an 85% issue. That's a 90% issue. That's not a 60% issue or a 67% issue. No. But in regard to what could happen in the States, if they keep going, how close are you with Rocana and Massey and what they're doing? Are you?
I know what they're doing. I'm not.
You're not
close
on
to
their
them.
team. You're not.
No, because look at what Rocana did. He stood up and he gave 6 names, and 4 of the people were like completely innocent. There were guys who'd been brought in for some sort of lineup. They had nothing to do with the Epstein files, and he made them all look like pedophiles. So I'm not a huge fan of how they've gone about this. They're getting people in trouble who had nothing to do with this. And again, they were there in 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2020. What bothers me, the Epstein thing is unspeakable evil. But what bothers me as much is why didn't you care about unspeakable evil?
How much did you put on Bondi? The way Bondi handled it.
I mean, look, she's been there for a year. At least this is coming out under her. Why don't we put it under her predecessor at DOJ under Biden? They did nothing. Why are we should look at Epstein, absolutely. But we should also look at why did no one care? He died, I think, in 2019. Like what you're talking about with Wexner happened in 1996. I mean, why aren't we going after the left and saying, why didn't you care when you were in charge? We should care, but we should have cared then. I wasn't in Congress then, so you can't blame me. I'm in Congress now, and I voted to release all the files. But why didn't they care in 2021 and 2022 and 2023 and 2024? And why don't they care about the 300,000 illegal immigrants who came across the border? And why don't they care about the grooming gangs in the UK? It's because to them, they don't care at all. This is about politics. They don't care about the kids who were hurt. I care about all of them.
That's a fair argument. I'm convinced you're about to see something. I'm convinced you're about to see something. U.S. has to go after somebody.
Absolutely.
They have to. They don't have a choice. They have to go after somebody.
That's what they need to do. They need to accuse Ayatollah Khomeini of being in the Epstein files.
Well, by the way, do you know there are claims that there are claims of him dealing allegedly with young boys and early on being criticized of being gay early on in his career, Khamenei. True claims of him. So
To me, that's like at the bottom of the list
yeah.
of the
I
scummy things that guy's done.
One thing about Vinny that I love, he's becoming a great example to everybody around here, and that includes myself. I'm so proud of Vinny. Yesterday, we're having dinner with two of our friends, Brian and Tom, who were there with us, and we had dinner. You saw them earlier. You were speaking to them. And he says, how'd you guys meet Vinny? And I started telling the story about Vinny, where he went to, where he's at right now. Life-changing what this man has turned into. Vinny, share with us what you got going on.
Pat, I love you and thank you. God literally saved me, and I'm here now because God, the story was, saw Pat on Instagram, clicked on it, saw that he was a Syrian. I just lost 2 friends to fentanyl poisoning, not overdose because they didn't. And God got me to where I am right now. And for you guys that know, my biggest thing is faith over fear and having faith in Jesus Christ. Last week, James Vanderbeek had that message where he said, I was facing death nose to nose, and he looked so comfortable and so happy. We forgot that, I don't know if you guys remember, on February 15th was the anniversary of 2015 when the ISIS soldiers, whatever, terrorists, whatever you want to call them, were in Libya, and they captured 20 Christian construction workers, put them down. Rob has a photo in orange jumpsuits, put knives to their heads, and they said, if you guys right now convert to Islam, we won't behead you. And these 20, I knew this was going to happen, 20 construction workers said, this is what they said. They said, no, I love you, Jesus Christ. And they cut all their heads off. I know I talk about faith over fear. That right there is, these are construction workers, Pat. They're not priests. They're not the Pope. They're not, these are just regular guys that all sat their hands tied behind their back. And they said, nope, we believe in Jesus Christ. That is the epitome of faith over fear. God bless them. God rest their souls. And that is it. Because Jesus said, by the way, John chapter 14:6 said what, Tom? I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Nobody gets to me except through the Father, except through me, through Jesus Christ. Period.
Absolutely. They were in fear at that time. There was early persecution going on. If you were a Jewish person at that time and you were now listening to Jesus, the Jewish leaders of the time were like, this rabbi here is a heretic. He's saying things that are way out of bounds, and persecution started, and they were scared. They were scared. And that same passage where he says, I am the way, right before that, he says to Thomas, he said, do not let your hearts be troubled. I am with you. And it takes strength. It takes strength in knowing where eternity is, to sit there and to as Christ did on the cross, just to give it up and saying, look, I am not going to betray my Savior. I am not going to be the heretic on this side. And it says, take my life if God allows you to take it. Because if you do it, God is only permitting it, not causing it.
I love it, Tom.
Yeah.
I love it, Vinny.
So yeah, and that was it. And I just want to make sure I'm the way and the truth, the life. No one gets to the Father through me. And it's just that right there is the epitome of faith over fear. And I just can't. It's almost as if every week something else is happening that's proving it and showing it. And I pray that I have that much faith if it ever comes down to it. And I pray that I get it.
Got it. Awesome. And by the way, I love seeing the faith over fear hats, shirts, everything that you got. If you feel the same way, go to vtmerch.com. Place an order for yourself, your family, and your friends. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.